Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and it's been a while since our last video, so I'm gonna do one that I haven't really done. I've been wanting to do videos, but I just really haven't had sometimes the motivation, sometimes the topic to do. So I don't normally do speculative stuff like this, but it caused sort of a panic, and so I obviously want to talk about this and bring some light, so since I do have some background in some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This is gonna be very weird. This is a Star Wars Galaxy of Hero video, except for we're gonna be in Discord for most of it because of data mines. Now, if you guys don't know, data mine is usually just kind of going inside the game and finding files that are of interest. You know, a lot of times they're just looking for different files that were uploaded recently, kind of stuff, and they're able to kind of find assets basically. And a lot of times the way that we know that something is coming to the game, or you know, some sort of, you know, marquee character, a lot of times we're able to tell before it's in the game. But there's a ton of assets that were uploaded, and we're gonna get title update 26 soon, you know, sometime soon, roughly. But the big reason why everyone was freaking out today was because of battle passes. Now, I'll explain what a battle pass is, but first I'm going to show the evidence of like what they're talking about, right? So there's a ton of stuff that are basically just showing, like, it's screaming literally that there's a battle pass coming. So we have a Conquest Battle Pass details view, right? So again, probably some sort of window about what you're going to get. Conquest Pass Promo Basic, Conquest Pass Promo Plus. That almost suggests to me that there might be multiple, or like multiple levels, I guess, of it, which wouldn't be a weird thing either. Then you have, you know, this Premium Pass Double, Premium Pass Single, and then the UI Battle Pass tile, right? So quite a few things, quite a few assets within the game that are named after a battle pass, right? So again, and it seems like most of them are coming from Conquest. So let's first talk about what is a battle pass, right? I streamed today, and I was actually quite surprised that a lot of people didn't really know what a battle pass was. And what I will say is that's not a problem. I just kind of, you know, it kind of took me by surprise, because this isn't actually something that is super rare, at least in my opinion, like in the games that I've played. And I don't just play mobile games, and I don't just play, you know, squad based games or whatever. Call of Duty, which is probably one of the bigger games right now, has a battle pass, right? So it's a pretty common thing that happens inside of games. So let's just talk about what it is. I had someone screenshot, and I know that like everyone's gonna probably hate me for this, but this is Marvel Strike Force, which is, I would say, probably one of the top competitors, if not the top competitor with Star Wars Galaxy of Hero. Very like game, you know. So you can see right here, right, like a lot of the words right here, a lot of times, you know, premium, right? Like that's how they kind of tell you the difference between what's happening, right? So you got this free and you got this premium. Now, again, you can kind of see where like this might look a lot like Conquest. You know, as you start hitting those milestones, you start getting certain things, right? So if you are free to play player, right, like when you hit that first Conquest, you're going to get 50 of their like version of crystals. But if you had the battle pass, right, that would be actually 550 crystals, right? I don't know what these things are. I know, like, I think these are like training orbs or something like that, but basically, you know, you're gonna get more, you're gonna get double in a lot of these cases, or more. And again, you know, I don't know the game. I don't know if this character is meta defining, or if that's their version of like Clone Wars Chewie, but a lot of times in battle passes, they actually do try to make it worth your while to get them. So a lot of people are a little bit worried because, again, you know, this is the next thing, right? Like if this is going to be the next little paywall kind of thing that's happening, right, that you're going to get more stuff, and it's going to be a better way for whales to go, right? Okay, so now that we kind of know what a battle pass is, let's kind of talk about like, hey, why would you do that? Why would you buy it? Why would CG offer that, right? And just kind of talk a little bit about that, you know, because I think that's important to talk about. So why would CG do this? Well, quite simply, in many cases, why games do this is it is a form of sustainable income, you know, or sustainable profit, I guess, if you will, for them. Because the way that the game currently operates, kind of, you know, I'm gonna just kind of throw a guess out there, is that when they are doing really well, or like when they release a character, right, or something like that, or a relic level or something, I'm assuming they see big spikes in their income, right? Like people go out and buy it, and it's usually for more than, you know, people probably spend, you know, $5 or $10 or whatever the case is, but a lot of these things are, you know, $100 at a time kind of thing. Like it's insane. But yeah, like that's what they're probably seeing. And just like you and I, or any other business or person or family or whatever, you want to try to minimize a lot of those swings, right? Like in some months you might have a really bad month, some months you might have a really great month. But if you can kind of just say like, hey, we on average are getting, you know, $200 a month, you know, just shortening down the numbers. Like if you can just say, hey, we get $200 a month, you can budget around that, right? But when you say like, well, last month we made $200, then the month after that we made 1,000, and then after that we made, you know, 100, and right, so it's just like, where do you kind of say like, hey, that's our team's budget? And so by doing that, and I do this on my own stream, like when I look at my reoccurring subs on Twitch, for those that are kind enough to, you know, sub to me, I can kind of determine like, hey, I think within 3 months I'll be able to afford a new microphone or more lights or whatever the case is, because I should be making this amount of money for the entire, you know, for the next few months. So all that being said, that's why like they would probably shift to this model. Now, what they do with that money, we have no idea. No one knows. I mean, it could be the fact that they say, hey, we think that 200 people will pay $20, you know, for the battle pass, which gives us X amount of money, which would be enough for us to hire a second, you know, developer, and then they can work on the character kits so we can continue producing more of those, right? Like that might be their business plan. Or I joked around with this, like with my Twitch audience today, it might just be that they are like, sweet, the battle pass is out and everyone's now getting Christmas bonuses, right? Like that might be the case too. Like we have no way of, you know, working that in those internal financials. Like that's just within the company itself. So with that being said, like that's kind of why they would do it. Now, why would you do it? Again, I kind of showed you what was happening, right? Like people were getting, you know, 550 crystals or whatever, you know, they call them, more character shards, right? So it might, in a sense of conquest, like let's just say Maul came out and was part of the battle pass, right? Like let's just say that you got extra shards. Maybe now that allows you to buy a gear piece instead of using the currency to buy the actual shards. Or maybe, and it depends again about like how much they want to give out with the battle pass, but maybe now instead of waiting the 3 months to fully unlock Maul, the people that bought the battle pass will get it in 2 months, right? And so you know, the biggest, I think one of the biggest things that we talked about, the time difference between why people weren't going for Lord Vader right away, was because we knew that he wasn't going to be good without Maul. So you had that extra time, and especially if you just knew that you weren't going to get Maul right away, you had that extra time, right? And so a battle pass might be a way that they encourage you to move faster, right? And again, if you move faster, you're oftentimes giving them more money, or, you know, your own resources. So that is probably why they're trying to look at it. And again, maybe why you're looking at it. It would have changed, like let's just say a battle pass did come out and it did allow you to do 2 conquests to get the full 7-star unlock, right? We would have seen Maul this last iteration of Territory Wars. We'd have seen it in the unlock of the 3v3, right? Like, so a lot of these timing issue things, it would have definitely sped that up and made it to where, again, people would have been way more incentivized to get Lord Vader. And I think that's what they really do want. Like that's kind of their business plan, right? Like, we're just being honest. So yeah, again, why you would do it, you know, first to be kind of there, you know, It's kind of, you know, some people probably roll their eyes at that, whatever. But that's just being honest, you know. And again, you also might be the kind of guy that says, hey, I spend 20 bucks a month anyways. And, you know, you saw, again, depending on what they give away and stuff like that, like if they give out 1,000 crystals and 60 slicing mats, you might have just said, well, there's one of my packs anyways, right? Like I spend 14 bucks for the slicing mat, you know, pack anyways. Like I'm just gonna go ahead and buy the battle pass instead, and then that'll kind of cover that purchase anyways for me. So in many ways though, they do try to make the battle pass lucrative. Like that's the whole goal, because again, they want that guaranteed, like kind of sustainable income that they know it's going to come in for a month, and it is much like a subscription based kind of thing. So enough talking about that. Now we can actually talk about what I think is kind of really cool, and that is that some new portraits came in. Ayla Secura came in. You know, this is a character that I've gotten actually quite a bit of use out of lately, as of late. And Qui-Gon Jinn is one that I haven't, but yeah, he got like kind of a facelift, if you will. And then Mace Windu, and I think of all of them, I really like him the most. He really does look like Samuel L. Jackson to me, like even to the point where like his robes too, like I always thought he had like extra long robes, and so to see that kind of represented is kind of cool to me. So now that begs the question, okay, so what does that mean? So again, throwing on the speculation hat, right? To date, at least within the last year or so, there has not been a character update that hasn't done something significant. And I guess a simpler way of saying that is they've never just done a character update, like graphically, at least to my knowledge. And again, I could be, you know, misremembering something, but they've never done something that just didn't mean something, right? That didn't show up later. We had those like kind of those reworks for like, you know, Jedi Knight Anakin and Luke, like Farm Boy Luke and Old Ben and a few of those other characters, and those were the I would say the more loosely tied ones, because those ones eventually became new player character models. And I think the bottom line with that one was they just want to make sure that when you're a new player coming to this game, that you're not playing a game that felt like it was from 2016 or 2015 or whatever it was. They want you to make it feel like, hey, like this is, you know, graphically wise, like this is something that is, you know, 2020, maybe 2019 or something. All jokes aside though, like I think that's probably like they wanted you to see good character models and graphics. But everyone else beyond that, right? Dooku, Gas, trying to think of some of the other ones, right? We use them in events. Really specifically, we're talking about even like someone mentioned B1 and B2 in my Discord, and those guys were used absolutely in the JMK and the Lord Vader events. So again, they don't seem to just be doing these things because they're just bored, right? Like I don't think that's the way. They are doing them specifically. Seems like they're designing them for events, or like again, the more loosely one is that new character or new players are, you know, kind of playing with them and like, oh cool, like this game is, you know, again graphically pleasing to me instead of something from 2017 or 2016 or whatever. So that brings us to this question is, hey, is there an event coming? I really didn't think so. I really actually thought that this road ahead coming was going to basically say, and really we should be expecting that road ahead within the next week or so. But in that road ahead, I think we're going to see, or I thought we were going to see basically them saying, hey, you know, thanks for the good times in the prequel era. You know, we're done here and we're moving on to the Scoundrel or Book of Boba era. But I don't know. I haven't, like, it's kind of crazy to me. Like I don't, right now it's hard to see what the event would come through. And remember too that like in these title updates, they come in pieces. So it's very possible that more will be updated. I remember, I think that actually happened with like the Dooku one. I think that's when B1 and B2 like later were showed off. But because of Qui-Gon Jinn being in here, it feels like if they were gonna do something, like it would be surrounding, you know, episode 1. And I just don't know like what that would be at this point. So I'm very confused, honestly. Like I don't know. I like I said, I just don't think that they're doing it because they're bored and they're like, oh cool, these guys need updates. I really do think that there's something behind all of this, and we're just gonna have to wait and see, guys. Like I said, I kind of joked around, like these two specifically, like Mace Windu and Qui-Gon, do have quite a bit of interaction with Jar Jar Binks. Ayla Secura has like none that I know of, and so I'm kind of like, I don't know what it's going to be. I highly doubt it's going to be like a Padawan Kenobi. So I don't know, like, you know, again, it's just so tough to say like what this could be, but I am, you know, pretty optimistic. Like I do think that it is going to be something. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video, and hopefully it was at least fun. It was fun making this, and like I said, I'm going to try to get back into making videos, but you know, I don't normally do these kind of speculation ones, but let me know what you guys think. I really am trying to create, like, get a sense of like, hey, if they offered a battle pass, would you do it? And like, you know, obviously fair pricing and all this other stuff, but you know, I just am curious, right? Like, it's kind of feel like a lot of people are sheltering for right now, like especially their wallets and their even their gameplay and game time. Would this be something that would interest you or drive you away? And also, you know, what is your thoughts on the whole Galactic Republic Jedi Council and Qui-Gon Jinn, I guess, kind of getting some facelifts and stuff like that? Is it just coincidence, or do you guys think that there's something else and I'm missing something? All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, hopefully this was informational or helpful or just fun to watch, and we'll see you guys in the next one.